Welcome everybody to TV Toastmasters. We have a great lineup today. We have 4 speakers, all women. Christine Sullivan, Mary Arms, Linda Ketchum, and Tiffany Everett. But this is our July meeting, and for you kids, it's almost time. It's going to be shown in August. It's almost time to go back to school. So we have to party. And so I brought somebody to help us party. Aloha. So she's missing an arm, unfortunately, but that's what happens when you party. All right. So let's get things going here. And our first off is our word power awe counter, Steve Aaronholtz.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our honored guests. Well, I was reading an article yesterday at work, and I came upon a word that I thought would be perfect for today. The word is coterie. Coterie, it's a noun. It originated in about 1738, and it means an intimate and often exclusive group of persons with a unifying common purpose or interest. So you could say Toastmasters are a coterie. We're not a small coterie, but nonetheless, we do have a unifying common interest and purpose. The word of the day is coterie, and I want you to try and use it appropriately in your speaking roles today. With that, I'm going to turn our meeting back to our Toastmaster, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Steve. Coterie, that sounds like the place where you put your coat when you go to the play. I don't know. Coterie. Next, we're going to have table topics, and Carol Kormelink is going to lead us all in table topics today. Carol?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. President, and our most welcome guests and members. Table topics, when you first hear about that, you say, oh, don't call on me, don't call on me. And after you get here, you're going, oh, I want to be called on. They didn't call on me. So the purpose of table topics is to answer, it's impromptu speaking, and it's to prepare you to be caught off guard and speak. Listen intently, think quickly, and speak effectively on the spur of the moment, standing on your feet. So just like in real life situations when your boss asks you that question and you don't have to stammer, you now have an opportunity to learn how to think quickly and answer the boss. So I will ask the question, and then I'll choose the lucky person to answer the question so that everyone will pay attention to the question. When you're asked the table topics question, you come to the lectern and you address the group, Madam Topic Master, and you may answer truthfully, or you may let your imagination run wild and lie, or you could say, that reminds me, and talk about something else. And make the questions fun that everyone. You have 2 minutes to give a mini speech. When you reach 1 minute, the minimum time that we like you to be up here, you'll see a green card that says, get ready to wrap up. At 1.5 minutes, you'll see the yellow card that says, get ready to wrap up. And then you'll see a red card. And you have 30 seconds after the 2 minutes to wrap up. And if you don't, then we have this hook that comes down and takes you off the stage. Not really. So today's table topic theme, this is summer. We have so much to do and so little time to do it. Years ago, I read a book by Robert Updegraff called All the Time You Need. And he said, you will never have all the time you want, but you always have all the time you need. And if you cannot account for every minute of those 24 hours, 1,440 minutes a day, you have no right to ask for any more time. My first question today is, how has Toastmasters helped you to make better use of your time? Mike Davis.
That reminds me of a lie that I'm about to tell you. How has Toastmasters helped me with time? because of the structure of Toastmasters, when we have a project speech, we have a certain amount of time we have to present that speech in. So where it's helped me most is in preparation, getting ready to present an idea and honing it down to a very few useful points with that idea, and getting up and practicing. Toastmasters is a great laboratory to come practice your speaking presentation skills in. So when I have that opportunity, sometimes I do go over when I first start creating a speech, but eventually through practice and feedback it helps me hone that down to just the few 5 to 7 minutes that I have to give my presentation. So that's how Toastmasters has helped me as far as my time in putting together a presentation or speech, so that when I'm giving it to you, it's making maximum use of your time and your benefit. Madam Tabletopic Master.
Thank you, Mike. And I love the word you use, a learning laboratory. I like that, Toastmasters is. Just consider this. If we waste 5 minutes a day, twice a day, just shuffling around looking for papers we can't find, we waste 5 minutes a day. That adds up to 61 years, or 22 weeks, 61 hours a year, or 22 weeks in a lifetime. I would like to ask, what is your description of a time waster? Brendan.
Well, Madam Topics Master, what I describe as a time waster is a time where you waste time. Something like maybe like sleeping over when you have too much things you have to do in that day, hitting the snooze bar on your alarm clock. That's not good. That's not a good habit to get into. Maybe also searching for things in your house, like wasted papers or something small that you can just go out and ask someone for. I've wasted time in school, I know, by not listening to the teacher and drawing and not really paying attention, which is not good for the long run. You know, small things like that could end up taking a toll on your total life. So, pay attention in school, kids!
Thank you, Brendan, for that great answer. Very good. When we waste time, we waste energy, and when we get angry because we were stuck in traffic, what can be done to change tense, wasted anger into a more relaxing time for us as we wait? Gordon Kelly, you have an hour drive here, hour and a half.
Believe it or not, I was sitting there trying to help the timer and missed the entire question. So, do you want to repeat the question, or you want me to just take a swag at it?
Well, I said when we waste time, we waste energy, and when we get angry because we're stuck in gridlock traffic.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I was in Chicago for a lot of years and wasting time. I never really, I don't think I waste a lot of time on one portion, but on the other portion, it's like I do triple time. So in Chicago, I had to drive 23 miles to work, which took 40 minutes minimum. So I used to read while I drove. I had to put a book or something there, listen to the radio. I did everything because that could turn into an hour and a half drive, 2 hours, just depending on the weather. So I always had something in my seat. Actually, I went to a lot of night school, so I did a lot of studying back and forth to work. I mean, this is the honest truth. On the Eisenhower, it got so bad sometimes where I was able to do a cat nap. And I could really, I'm serious, I could cat nap, just in general I'm talking about. But on the Eisenhower, and this is really dangerous, but I would actually just kind of just barely nod. But I made it through the day, things were great. Made it through school, graduated with honors and all that kind of good stuff. But now, this weekend, or since Thursday, I've been wasting a little bit of time because of the British Open, the golf tournament. And the big thing here is, I guess everybody's time is important, but Tiger Woods' time is also important, but he didn't make the cut. So he has now gone home. So I'm just wondering what Tiger Woods is going to do for the weekend, because everybody had Tiger Woods picked to win the British Open, and he's not going to win it. So that's what I had.
Thank you very much, Gordon, for that insightful answer. You may have heard that you have nothing to lose by joining Toastmasters. Don't you believe it? You have plenty to lose. Mainly your fear of speaking in public. Name a career benefit that you may experience when you join Toastmasters. Phil.
Thank you. Career opportunities that may be increased by joining Toastmasters would be many. I'm a general contractor. I deal with a lot of higher-end construction projects. I work with a design firm called Nimbus 9, and they have us work in a lot of the hoity-toity places. You know, we get a lot of jobs in Indian Hill. So I have to speak with people that are used to professional speakers, doctors, lawyers, people that are investment bankers. This group of higher-end homes that we are invited into, we're given the keys because we are trusted that much. And there's a small coterie of general contractors that are put in such a wonderful position to be allowed. I don't have 8 balls tattooed on my head. That's a wise decision I made as a child, just because I couldn't decide whether I wanted an 8 ball or a 9 ball on my head. So I ended up with no tattoos whatsoever, which is fortunate for me now. But the Toastmasters, this is only my second meeting here. I plan on joining today, as at this point I am just a visitor. However, I'm looking forward to being a member of TV Toastmasters and learning more about the television production end of things. I don't want to be swinging a hammer for the rest of my life. I'm 44 years old and I'm not getting any younger. But I'm glad to see all the happy smiling faces here, and I'm looking forward to getting up and speaking. And my name is Phil Rigg, TV Toastmasters. Thank you.
Phil. We exchanged control directly. Thank you, and I wasn't putting him on the spot. He told me he was going to join today, so I knew that was a safe question. I thank everyone for participating and also for using the word of the day, which I forgot to use. This is a coterie of great people up here, and I thank you for each one. I thank Mike for his procrastination answer and Brendan for his time-wasting answer. You're really ahead of the game, Brendan. I appreciate that. And Gordon for... I hope that you were parked when you were reading.
No.
Okay. And Phil for how this will benefit you. Thank you all, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol. Those were great table topics. Gordon, when he was president, used to give us a little discussion about the deer that he saw on the way here from Maysville. And of course, Maysville's a good hour away. Today, coming here, I'm 7 minutes away. I saw a deer in our neighborhood, so I don't know what's going on. They're taking over. Okay, as far as the coterie of speakers, we have our first speaker, Christine Sullivan. She's going to be doing speech number 2 in the Competent Communicator Manual, Organize Your Speech. Christine has been a road warrior doing consulting work for the last 4 years, requiring about 85% travel. And in respect to that, the title of her speech is Road Warrior, Survival Techniques. Christine.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. Road Warrior. Some of you may ask what a road warrior is. I don't recommend trying to Google it, because when I tried Google, I got Mad Max 2, Road Warrior, the movie. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. A road warrior is someone who spends approximately 85 to 90% of their time traveling for business. That means that I'm typically away from home more than I'm actually home. So I have reconciled the fact that I live on the road and I vacation at home. because that's my treat, is being able to putter around my house. But I've been able to pick up a couple of tips and tricks that I wanted to share with everybody here, particularly since this is the vacation season. People are traveling quite a bit, taking flights, going to different places. Maybe they've never been there before. So I thought some of these might be helpful. Travel can be very stressful, and I've learned that being prepared both before, during, and after will help make a smooth transition to getting from point A to point B. Before, I think, is key. Just as with everything else, prep work is helpful and will make the transition go smooth. And one thing to remember with the airlines are all of the restrictions that you have. 3-ounce bottles. Keep that in mind. If you travel with anything and you want to carry it onto a plane, it has to be 3 ounces or less. It doesn't matter if you have a 12-ounce bottle with only 1 ounce of liquid in it. It won't fly, literally. So with that, remember that you need to have a sandwich size Ziploc type bag where you put your 3-ounce bottles into it, and make sure that it's ready to go, because you have to pull it out to go through security if you take it on the plane. Second of all is pack light. It's something that if you're only gone for a handful of days, think about maybe packing something that packs this small, or something that you can reuse. I frequently pack one suit and wear one suit. I'm on a client site for 4 days. It's something where if I wear a dark suit or a black suit, it's something I can re-wear without having to pack 3 suits, which tends to make my luggage be a lot bigger and harder to carry. Also, if you decide to carry on your luggage onto the flight, I highly recommend that. Airlines are not notoriously great with keeping track of your luggage. I know this from firsthand experience. I try to avoid checking my luggage at all costs. So if that's what you plan to do, keep in mind that you want to find a rollerboard that will go into the up compartment of the airplane or under your seat versus checking it. Also too, if you are taking a smaller plane, one that seats 3 across or 4 across, you actually check your luggage at the door of the airplane. So if it's a small carrier jet that you're taking, or what we call puddle jumper, you actually do not have to check your luggage, because if you plan to carry it on, you just check it basically curbside of the plane, and then you get it back when you get off. So that way it may save you some headaches of having to wait in baggage claim or having to stand in line at the ticket counter to drop that off. So those are some tips of before, things to think about before, while you're packing, how to pack. What about during? Well, when you get to the airport, you have obviously the security line, everybody's joy. And with the security line, there's a couple of key things to think about. If you have a laptop, you have to take it out of the case and put it in a separate gray bin compartment by itself. Nothing else goes in that bin. So make sure if you're carrying a laptop, you have to take it out of the case. Second of all, if you have your 3-ounce bottles in your little plastic baggie, that also has to come out of your bag. Make sure that goes into a separate gray bin compartment. Shoes come off. If you're wearing a jacket, jackets come off. All of those go into the second gray bin compartment. So it's a routine. I get in line, I go ahead and make sure I have my 2 bins. I line them up, I dump my stuff, I have my boarding pass ready to go right through the security area. It makes things go a lot quicker. If you're trying to get through security quicker, I highly recommend that you do not get behind a family with strollers or vacationers who this is their 1 trip a year. Because I've done that and I know better now. So those are some things that will help you get to where you need to go. Also, if you happen to print your boarding pass before you actually get to the airport, which you can do, make sure that once you get through security, you check your departure screens. Your gate may have changed. That has happened to me as well. That will help you get to where you need to go to get on the plane. And then lastly, if you transfer, know that you will have a gate representative right outside your plane in whatever airport is your way station to get you to the next gate to board your second flight. So there's always someone waiting from the airline there that you can ask as soon as you get off the flight. And then what about after? After you get home and say you have to turn around and do this again, which is what road warriors do, dry cleaning. That's something that's always a big thing on a list. One of the things that you can do is actually, if you know you're going to go back to that same city, is to leave your dry cleaning at a local dry cleaner. Leave it on a Thursday, pick it up on a Monday. You don't have to pack that suit. It's already waiting for you, freshly pressed and clean when you arrive in that city. And also, some folks I know leave a bag for non-essentials, things like gym shoes, 12-ounce bottles, anything that they feel is non-essential that they don't necessarily need to pack. So those are some tips of the trade that I thought, with all the vacationers and all the vacations planned, that might be of interest to some folks. Many people get very uptight about travel, and the key thing to remember is to relax. There's always another flight. And road warriors are part of a coterie. We know the routine. We do it every single week. And if that's of any benefit to anyone else that we can share, I hope that's been useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine. Some good tips. We'll be back right after this.
Thank you very much. And now for our next speaker, Stanley Glitchner.
Speaking in public doesn't have to be a death sentence. At Toastmasters, we can help you overcome your fears.
Our next speaker, member of the coterie, is Mary Arms. She's been a member of TV Toastmasters for about 2 years, and she's on speech number 5 of the Competent Communicator Manual. I don't know if Mary realizes that she's going to be on TV because the title of her speech is, "I Have a Dark Family Secret." We're going to find out some interesting things, I think. Mary.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I have a dark family secret. And if anyone knows the secret is, please stand up and let me know. Okay, now that you know or you don't know what it may be, I will let you know in a moment. Well, it's time to let you know. I am from a family of procrastinators. And it started with our parents, especially our mother. We wait until the last moment to get it done. And sometimes it never gets finished. When the holidays come around and we are trying to finish it, and sometimes we wait until the last moment to face large crowds, and plus we wait in long lines. I even waited till the last moment to go to the hospital to have my daughter. And when I got there, I still had to wait. Really, I'm joking about that situation, but I think it started not long after my daughter. Now, my brother, he's one of the biggest procrastinators. It's a hard time going out and finding a job and also get married. Now, my sister, which most all of you know, she is running in the queen of the procrastinator. It takes her forever to get it done, and when she does get it done, it's still not finished. Sometimes a month late, and when Christmas comes around, you may get it for your birthday the following year. Now, to me, I think this is a sickness or laziness, or I just hate shopping. So one year I got started. I got smart, I mean. I went out and I got everyone on my list gift cards from the nearest fast food restaurant. And when I handed them out, I found out I wasn't the only one who had with the same idea. The situation was quite humorous. But I had the same great feeling that everyone else had, and the same thoughts. After that, I quit giving gift cards for a year or two. Then I thought this would be a smart idea. I'd do like my parents did for many years. When they got older, they gave money, and it saved gas, standing in lines, waiting, and you got to pick out what you wanted. So I thought that was a great idea. But then it came to a sudden stop. People started to say the one line that most people hate to hear. Is that all I get? Is there no end to the madness? Last year, I came to the conclusion, I'm going to go out early, get all my shopping done. And so I went out in November to start shopping, and I found out that what I wanted, and I went to another store and I found again what I wanted. And when I got home, I discovered I came home with 2 gift cards. So on December 24th, I went to the mall. I started buying Christmas at the last moment. This year, I came to the conclusion, I hate shopping. So don't do as my brother and sister do. Start early, buy gifts, bring them home, or just brave the long lines and hope you'll find what you want or don't want. Or you can wait till December 24th and brave the long lines, or wait till December 26th and get 50 to 75% off. So at the end of the speech, don't become a procrastinator, or if you are or not, or if you know a person who is, go out, grab them by the hand, help them dig themselves out of the hole that they may have got themselves into, and please, please say to them, get over it.
Thank you, Mary. December 24th, you have lots of time, right, for Christmas? No big deal. We'll be right back.
I'd like to begin tonight with a little joke. This guy, he's a farmer, and he says, hey, hello, sorry. But seriously, folks.
Speaking in public is no joke.
Farmer says, doctor says, chicken says...
For help, call Toastmasters, the public speaking support group.
The chicken.
Welcome back. Our third speaker today is Linda Ketchum. Linda has been a member of Toastmasters since April of 2006 and has achieved the Advanced Communicator Gold and Advanced Leader Bronze. Today she will be presenting the third project in the Entertaining Speaker Manual, Make Them Laugh. She is to deliver a humorous speech in 5 to 7 minutes using original material drawn from personal experience as well from other sources adapted to fit a talk. The speech should have some degree of unity and a theme and be in good taste. Help me welcome Linda Ketchum as she tells her story of Ober-Gatlinburg.
It's late Sunday afternoon last month, and my husband and I, a small courtier, are walking down the streets of Gatlinburg. Now, this is the first time I've been to Gatlinburg, so I'm looking around and enjoying it. And suddenly, my husband says, "Let's go up the ski lift." What? What do you mean, go up the ski lift? I didn't say that, I just kind of looked at him. Now, a ski lift, a chair lift, by definition, is a continuous circle that goes up a mountain. Now, my view of a ski lift, whether it is right or wrong, is this thing that you sit in. And when you get to the top of the mountain, there's this tiny little strip of ground, and you have to get off of it without it stopping. Now, what you don't know about me is I have a phobia. And a phobia is an unrealistic fear. And my fear is of stairs and heights. I am terrified of escalators. And I truly have had to work on this. In fact, when I was 17, I went to Washington, D.C. on a citizenship workshop for 4-H. And I was trapped on the first floor of the Smithsonian because I couldn't ride the escalator. I am terrified of escalators. I have worked through this to the point that I can ride most escalators, but I will admit, very recently I was in a department store and did one of these numbers, and my leg kept going and my other foot kept stopping. And I finally pulled my foot back and didn't go head first down the escalator. So the idea of riding a ski lift up to the top of a mountain and then having to get off in a tiny little space, and don't bother to tell me if that space is a block wide because I don't care. I'm not going to find out. Terrified me. And my husband is a very kind person most of the time. And he said, when I said, I don't want to do that, he said, okay. Well, I found out 2 days later he was really angry because he really wanted to ride the ski lift. And we've only been married for 2.5 years, and I haven't really explained to him my fear. He knows I don't like escalators, but he didn't realize how intense my fear was of that type of thing. Even though we rode the tram in Seattle, and he knows I turned the color of Carol's jacket as we rode it. I have a terror of heights. So the compromise was we would ride the air tram. Now the air tram is this little box about maybe half the size of this room that holds 120 people and has lots of windows. And it goes up these cords that look to me like they were about this big around. They were probably closer to this big around. And the little boxes are suspended on this cord. And there's 5 towers that go up the hill, and it's a 2.1 mile trip. And this is one of the largest air trams in the United States, aerial trams in the United States. And it's also one of the newer ones. They've just replaced the little cars in 2007 and have beautiful viewing area. So we get on the car and we start up the hill. Now what I didn't realize is that as you go up these little bitty cords, as I said, probably the size of this room, depending on the weight of the car is how far down the cables go. And each time you get to one of the towers, if the other car is coming down, as it goes to the top one, you go down even further. It balances itself. And the 5th tower up at the 2.1 mile mark is very high. So we are riding along in this car and it would go boom and up again and down again. Beautiful view. Absolutely beautiful view. You could see these $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 chalets that $100,000 chalets that people stay in, people own. You could look down and look in their balconies and their swimming pools, and you could almost see in their houses. If you'd taken binoculars, you could. But you saw all the houses, you saw all the beautiful area. It was a beautiful trip. And I was fine on the way up. I don't really even have too bad a terror of escalators on the way up. On the way down, you start at tower 5. So you start up out of the area, and it's about 2,500 feet above sea level at the bottom of the hill and 4,400 feet above sea level at the top of the hill. So in 2 miles, you've gone about 2,000 feet up. It's a fair-sized mountain. When you get to the beginning of the trip down, you're at Tower 5, and you instantly go, pump. And I looked at my husband, I handed him the camera, and I said, if you want any pictures now, you have to take them yourself, and grab the pole with both hands. The trip was great. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to anyone, but be sure and hold on tight. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Linda. Whenever I go to Kings Island, get on the roller coaster, all I can think is, I hope the engineer that designed this thing didn't skimp on calculus, because I want those loads figured out to the 100th of a pound. We'll be right back.
All the education in the world won't help you get ahead in life if you can't express your ideas effectively. Every day, competition for advancement gets tougher and tougher. You need an edge. A Toastmasters club can give you that edge. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters gives you the confidence to express your ideas to anyone. Get the Toastmasters edge.
Welcome back. Our next speaker is Tiffany Everett. She is doing speech number 3 from the Competent Communicator Manual. The objective is the winning proposal. Tiffany has been in Toastmasters for almost 3 years and has seen the transformation of people from timid to confident and competent leaders, or speakers rather. Join Tiffany today in hearing why one should take a look at this group. Speech title is Why Toastmasters. Tiffany?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and our studio audience. At the beginning of July, I joined a coterie of unique individuals known as Distinguished Toastmasters, the highest award that anybody can achieve in Toastmasters. The day that I did that, I was with another coterie of people, Menzins. Menzins are people with top 2% of IQ worldwide. And they're just like you and me. Afraid to speak, socially inept at times, and very opinionated. I happened to teach a session on taking the terror out of talk that day, and I found that the people in Mensa have similar issues that people in Toastmasters have. They would rather die than to get up in front of a group and speak. I said to one person, "So join Toastmasters." And this person goes, "Well, give me 3 reasons why I should." So I'd like to share with you all today 3 reasons to consider joining this fine organization. The first of which, it's a safe place for you to mess up and make all the mistakes that you want. The second, it's a place where you can work on yourself. And third, there are opportunities for you to network to gain future experiences. First and foremost, let's talk about this safe place. In the greater Cincinnati area, there are over 50 clubs that you could take an opportunity to practice at. Clubs that are in corporate environments, neighborhood clubs, and this club which focuses on television. One thing, though, is constant. If you screw up a speech, nobody else is going to know about it, except for the people in the audience that day. And it's not going to leave the room that you're in. I remember the first speech that I gave. I stood behind a lectern like this. My legs were planted and my knees were locked, and my hands, kung fu death grip on the lectern. I did not let go. My evaluator that day said, "Tiffany, you have a great smile. Let's work on the kung fu death grip and saying the word okay 42 times. My next speech, I chopped that down to 15, so that was a major improvement. But nobody knew outside the room that I was petrified to be up in front of a group. It takes a lot of self-confidence and reassurance from the membership of the group to get you up behind a lectern, even if it's just to answer a question that's a table topic or to give a timing report. For some people, they are just terrified, and this is a safe place for us to do that. This leads into working on ourselves. When I was asked to join Toastmasters by my boss at the time, she said, "Tiffany, you have great ideas. However, your self-confidence is non-existent. Join Toastmasters. It's helped me out. I think it can help you out too." I looked at her and said, "Are you nuts? How did you get that way?" And she goes, "Well, it took a couple years, a couple meetings, and I suggest that you go and find out for yourself." That was 3 years ago. Happy to say I'm still here and still wanting to see people succeed. After all, if you want to have a job or anything known about you, who's going to toot your horn? It's going to be you. It's not going to be anyone else. It's going to be you that toots your own horn and gives you your success. The third opportunity I'd like to talk about is opportunities to network. I have met so many different people across the spectrum, people from insurance companies, from Fortune 100 firms, people that have so many different wide varieties of backgrounds, of knowledge. If I want to have somebody go to accounting, I know who I can call for an accounting question. If I want to talk to somebody about underwater basket weaving, I can find somebody in Toastmasters who understands underwater basket weaving. If I want to find somebody who could talk to me about self-improvement, there's tons of people that talk about self-improvement. By going to meetings and going to conferences that the Toastmaster groups have twice a year, you are able to pick up on so many different opportunities. They're abounding. You're wondering, so where do I start? Go to www.toastmasters.org, type in your zip code at the Find a Club, and you can find a club to look at. As I tell people, you have to find your home club where you feel most comfortable. It may not be Club A, it may be Club D, E, or F, but find what you're looking for. Remember, Toastmasters is a safe place for you to work on yourself and to gain experience and opportunities. I hope that you consider this for the future. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tiffany. She convinced me. I think I may join Toastmasters. We'll be right back.
What future do you envision for yourself? What dreams do you have? If you want your dreams to come true, you must have confidence in yourself and your abilities. A Toastmasters Club can help you build that confidence. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters shows you how to express yourself clearly and effectively. Make your dreams a reality. Join a Toastmasters Club.
Having great meetings like this, and I will return control of the meeting to our Toastmaster, Rick Davis.
Thank you, Carol. I have very little to add. We are running a little bit late, but we can always fix that in editing. We'll just cut out Carol. But anyway, I would like to give our guests an opportunity to come up and give us a minute or so feedback about what they saw today and what they liked, what didn't like, what kind of feedback we could get. So Bob, would you come up and give us a little feedback?
The thing I love about Toastmasters is the great support. Love is not too strong a word to use about Toastmasters. Catherine and I both felt this in our clubs, especially our home clubs. And so feedback is prized and appreciated. I would suggest there be more feedback from the individual members, like we typically have in advanced clubs. The Toastmasters International prepares a ballot, and you can tear off like a short description and feedback. And if you ever look at my wife's manual, her CC manual, she saved all those and stapled them in her manual. It's a prize, you know, it's a treasure. And we love the feeling and support that we get from Toastmasters. We're so glad to be here today and meet new friends.
Catherine, would you come up and talk to us?
Mary, thank you very much. My husband had to demonstrate to me that he could be in Toastmasters and come back and rehearse his speeches with me, and he was still in one piece after all that, you know, and I was so terrified. I watched him do that for I don't know how many, a year maybe, and there was someone in our church who joined, who was a member, and I thought, gee, I'm not afraid of Todd, you know, I think I'll maybe go to his club. And so Bob came with me, and I was terrified, absolutely terrified of just being with a group of people. About 2 years ago, I could never have even been here in this room with you. I was so frightened of just being a people, not in public speaking, just being with people. So I've come a long way. There's that. I've conquered a lot of that fear, and so when we were going to come here today, I really wasn't afraid, because I've learned from Toastmasters that you people are not shark biters. I mean, you don't come after people. I must have grown up in a very hostile family because I was terrified. Anyway, it's great to be here today.
Phil Riggs, would you come up and give us some feedback? This is your second meeting, and maybe you have some further insights.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. After all, I am the Wizard of Oz. Thank you. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Constructive criticism. I just did it again. Constructive criticism will help me prevent using the "ah" word when I have nothing else to say. Best to keep your mouth shut. But I'm going to be joining today. I'm looking forward to being with Toastmasters and learning the skills and the arts that, once again, you guys can help me perfect. Thank you.
Mike, why don't you come on up and tell us what you saw today, how we can improve.
I saw a kid who's getting funnier every week. Every club has its own personality, and that personality changes about this time every year when new officers come in. So it's been interesting to come to a few meetings and see there was more energy today, and I anticipate that will continue. Not a knock on the old guard, it's just every group is a little bit different. So with the leadership of Carol and all, I look forward to being a part of this group, and every time you come you learn something. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mike. Sue Vera, would you come up? I'm sorry. My brain's not working.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. There's one arm right there. Had fun today. It's been a long time since I attended a Toastmasters meeting. I joined about 20 years ago and was active for about 15 years. And then I had 2 kids and I had to take a break. So I'm thinking of getting back into action, and this was a good, and thank you, Carol, for pushing me, because I was, although I don't have that fear of speaking, I still have that, inertia to get back into the group. So thank you for, encouraging me, and glad to be here. I'm still trying to figure out which club to attend because we are moving and things are changing. So, but I will, keep attending some clubs and make my decision. Thank you very much.
Wow, that kind of experience should be an asset to any club. All right, the next meeting, August 15th, 9 a.m. here. I'm going to be attending my 40th high school reunion, so I won't be here. Yeah. I don't know how I maintain my youth. You know? It's a secret. Also, the District 40 Fall Conference is coming up November 14th through the 15th, and it's going to be in beautiful at Ohio University, Athens. And if you've never been to Athens, it's a very interesting little town, and if you get a chance to wander around the university, it's a great university, the oldest university in the state. All right, do we have any other suggestions, questions, comments? Oop, a little too much partying. All right, if not, I will adjourn the meeting, and thank you all for coming, and we will adjourn to the executive meeting immediately after.